spent years thinking I was folk or I was indie or whatever. And when I would send people my music, they would say, "We don't do country." I'm not
Oh,
country. I'm not country. No shade on country. I love country music, but I just don't think that's what I'm doing.
today I'm sitting down with Nathan Evans Fox. Nathan is originally from North Carolina, now based in Nashville. Nathan is an indie alt country artist, back to the basics, roots player, releasing a new album this year, Heirloom. Nathan's about to hit the road to open for Carsie Blanton and an extended summer tour. And he's got some new stuff coming out. Check him out. Great interview, great guy. Check it out. Stay tuned. Do not leave.
Ain't no boss gonna make a fuss when the Lord comes back. I'm gonna drive real slow. Well, every high place gonna be brought low. Every high place gonna.
All right, Nathan Fox, what's up, buddy?
Hey, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad we can make this work. I know that you're a busy guy, and it's not always easy to get in studio. But if you're ever in the area, I would absolutely love to have you in.
Appreciate it.
Um, we could do a session. Do you get to the Midwest at all?
Occasionally, I'm getting ready to go to the Midwest. I don't know when this is going to come out, but I'm going to the Midwest the middle of May with opening for Carsie Blanton. So that's gonna
Nice.
be that's gonna be my big get out there.
When's that start up?
May, I think the first date is I got like I'm a dad, so my brain is mush, but I think the first date is May 13th.
Okay,
It's
nice.
for about a week and a half. Yeah, I'm stoked.
So let's chat about. Let's start from the beginning. I usually like to get just some background on how you ended up here. So obviously, you born in North Carolina, got into music, eventually got to Nashville. How'd that all come about? When did you get started in the music?
Yeah, that's this story should be a lot simpler than it is because I think for most people they realize they like music and they just do it. I started playing violin when I was 4. I just loved like fiddle. I grew up kind of in the hills around a lot of bluegrass. There's also a lot of like Celtic music out where I grew up, so it's like very fiddle heavy. So it was just kind of like in the air. I took to it. Uh, my parents played in a lot of like really weird little churches and did all the worship music, and so I was always a part of this little like weird family trio. And so that kept like a lot of music going. And so I
Yep.
just kinda, like, kept on picking up instruments and learning guitar and picked up an interest in songwriting. They were awful songs, but, you pick up an interest somewhere and then you kind of build from there, like, a little bit of, tinkering with piano and different things. Um, but then I just kinda kept it as, like, a personal thing that I kept offline for a long time. I never, like, stopped practicing or stopped writing songs. I always did that and kind of every couple of years, I'll be like, "Man, maybe I'm gonna do something with it. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'll play a show. I don't know." But I never really just, like, got out there with it, in part because it was always so tied to some pretty rough, like, religious communities that I was involved in that I think I just kind of had a big sore spot around it. Uh, and so it took me a lot of time of, like, working through that, working through, figuring out, like, what kind of adult I wanted to be. And so then, 2016 was the first year that I really, like, played a show, put any music out, made a real effort at doing anything with music. So I'm like, I'm an old guy that's kind of young at music in a way, because in there was also like a pandemic in there and a lot of different interruptions.
Yeah.
I took some time kind of off to like have my have my first kid, and also like bury my dad, which I talk about now because it's part of the record I'm putting out. Can't really like hide the family drama when you write about it. Um, so, like, it's kind of I feel, like, very young. I feel like I've been playing music for, like, 6 years, even though it's been a lifetime. And I guess I should say, yeah, North Carolina, South Carolina, stayed there till I was, like, 25, and then bounced around a lot, like, New York, Atlanta, and New York, Houston, cursed city, Atlanta, and then Nashville. And part of, moving around and, it's like that kind of trying to figure out what kind of person I wanna be, like what I need to be doing in my life. You bounce around so much, it becomes hard to be part of a music scene somewhere. So, like, I see my friends in Lexington, Kentucky, and they have a killer scene, but like you have to be there to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Um, and I never was anywhere long enough to be a part of it. And so Nashville was the kind of like I know that when I go there, I can get plugged in with people immediately. I know that I can like find other musicians, even though it's like a really big pond and there's really like it's really like a kind of a cluster of a lot of small ponds. But I
Yeah.
can pond jump and find my people instead of trying to work my way into a scene, like kind of starting, 10 years behind.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. You know what's interesting is that I can't tell you how many times I've had an artist either in studio or doing this where they started out playing music in worship or
Hmm.
church or some sort of religious thing. And it never dawned on me until I started, because that's personally for me, that's how part of how I got into it. Um and met people through music, through church, which is kind of wild. So that's interesting to hear. You're not the first and you're definitely not the last.
Yeah.
And I agree with you about the pods of music. Nashville basically is so many people. I mean, you could find a backing band in a day, you know?
I have done it. Yeah. It has happened before. We've had emergencies with my old band and like just got folks that plug right in and they're all pros. Like everybody here's super competent. Nashville
Yeah.
gets like a lot of hate and some of it's very deserved. But like if you come in, like I came in my 30s, like I wasn't coming in looking for people who were hot-headed, and I also wasn't coming in hot-headed. Like I was like, I need to find people that are like just kind of dads. Like I need to find people as kind of boring as I am who just like to make music. And there's plenty of those here. And I was lucky enough to find them. And it's been great.
Yeah, I mean, you get the gamut of like age groups. You get the young people that are trying to make a name in their 20s, and then you get the old guys that are still writing,
Yeah.
and they're writing at labels or whatever. It's all over the
Yeah.
board.
That's one of the things I like about it. I'm not like um part of the thing is like I don't think of myself as a musician first. Like I've lived a lot of life before I became a full-time musician, I guess. And so uh I like how, like, music doesn't have there's parts of Nashville that have professionalized the ways that they do music in a way where it's like you go to a party and you don't break out a guitar. It's, like, actually very nice to kind of be like, "We have to be people first."
Yeah.
There's other problems with professionalizing music, but I'm really grateful for the parts that's like, we're not gonna be out here, like, self-promoting all the time. That kinda kills the vibe. Because like we have our 9 to 5. We have our thing over there that like pays the bills that we're like confident in like doing it well enough. And then we can just be people the rest of the time. Now, I'm not
Right.
saying I'm like one of these big wig writers or anything, but it makes for some good it makes for good parties. It makes for good like, family hangs.
Yeah, and it's like you don't wanna you're writing for a career, and you don't wanna be doing that 24/7 when you're off, because then then you don't it's not enjoyable, and you're not tapping into your creativity if it's nonstop, I feel.
Yeah, no, it's true. And you like and it's a little bit like, you gotta live a little bit to have something to write about. And I don't want to get to the point where I'm just like writing songs about writing songs.
Right. Well, hey, tell me about your genres. So I love your stuff,
Thank
and
you.
I was wondering, do you put yourself in a genre per se, or are you kinda what would you say?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, because that's been probably you're always, like, working at your craft, and you're always trying to get better at all those things. But the thing that's kind of been the hardest thing for me figuring out, like, how to, like, build a music career has been figuring out genre, not because I, like, idolize the conventions of genre, but simply because they connect you with an audience and help you be legible to someone.
Right.
Like, I like, to make money at this, people have to know that they're getting, like, shampoo or soap, and I'm kinda like soap poo, that's that adding poo to the end, I didn't see that coming, that's not, the best way to characterize what I'm doing, um, but yeah, like, I just thought I just made music that sounds like and I still think I made music that sounds like where I'm from, like, I don't really I'm bad at faking really everything, like, I'll gussy things up a little bit and kind of put some shine and some polish on them. But, like, the things that I make are the things that I wanna hear, the things I talk about are the things that I know, like, the accent I've got is not as thick as, like, somebody who's trying to get a CMA, like, climb the CMA charts, but it's also, like, too thick to be respected by a lot of hoity-toity folks. Um, so I spent years thinking I was folk or I was indie or whatever. And when I would send people my music, they would say, "We don't do country." And I'm like, "I'm not
Oh,
country. I'm not country." And like, no shade on country. I love country music, but I just don't think that's what I'm doing. And I realized that my sense of the world is so vernacular and so particular to where I'm from, and my accent's a thing that I can't escape. And so I've settled on this term indie country, which
oh,
is
I like it.
technically a thing, um, because it is country. Like I'm from the country. I love my hillbilly stuff, and also like I appreciate the creativity and open endedness of indie music. That like the point isn't to be the point isn't to just like rehash all the same things. Like, so I'm balancing this thing where, like, to me, what I love about country music and what I've learned that I just love about music in general, like the things that I listen to when I'm at the gym, is that they're like comfort food. So I don't like getting like experimental and weird. No shade on people that are into like avant garde things. That's not who I am. Like, I want biscuits and gravy. I just want to do it well.
Yeah.
And I also don't think that like when you're serving biscuits and gravy, that means that you have to dress it in this like Cracker Barrel set. like, like I've made grits in my 12 by 12 New York City apartment before. You know, like that is what country is to me. It's like it's the thing that sustains you wherever you go in the world, not this like little insular pocket you refuse to leave. So indie country for me is the way of being like, I want to make grits in the world, but I don't want to be afraid of it. Like I want to still engage it. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at with that.
Well, it's John Mayer, which I like John a little bit. I like what he's doing with Dead and Company, but he said one time, "No genre will accept me," and I can't stop thinking about that quote because it's like it's true. Where everybody wants to plug you into a genre, but you could be genreless, or you could be like a subgenre or a subgenre,
Mhm.
and that's okay because when any genre was started, it wasn't a genre.
Right. Yeah.
So and if you're authentic to yourself, that's another thing I see songwriters do, which and I've done it myself too, is I try to fit myself into a genre, which is totally not authentic. It sounds terrible. It's a waste of time. So
Right.
kudos to you for sticking to
Thank
that.
you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the authenticity thing, to me, I've come to realize that, like, being authentic, I think as a musician, it really means, like, what can you do best that no one else can do? Like, and I can't, bless his heart, I can't be Morgan Wallen better than Morgan Wallen. I'm too real for that. And, like, we're not the same people at all. And I'm not, like and I've also come to realize that, like, I'm not an entertainer. My hairline is so bad, dude. I, like,
Wow,
I
I'm
can't
right with you, my man.
yeah, look at us with our yeah. Like, I'm not I think I sing okay, but I'm not a killer vocalist, like, I don't have a big stage presence, I'm not, like, a hot bod, you know? And I'm also, like, morose a little bit, and I've done a lot like, I worked a job for 10 years where I helped people in grief and loss. I'm I'm not cut to just be like a dude who sells Jello shots at the bar, you know, like, those aren't
Right.
the kind of songs that I write, and so I can try to do that, but I do it weird, and it kind of comes off, like, clunky. So, like, it's a little bit like the thing that I know I can do is just gonna have to be me, like, that's what authentic is, it's just, like, doing the thing that I can do best, and then the genre thing is really about, like, how do I find ways of communicating with the little building blocks of like what people know about music, like where how they can make sense of me, not so they can like pin me down, but so they can like find the front door, so they can like find an entrance point. So it's
Yeah.
been, I mean, that's why I'm like grateful for things like social media when I finally just started running my mouth on there because I was able to like set my own terms of how people could meet me and what like how they could learn to recognize me and understand what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of the reason I enjoy doing this because a lot of times people only get to know artists through the music
Hmm.
and social media has helped that, but there's the personality behind it that can really shed light on how they're writing, what everything means and puts more context to albums and singles and all that.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about I want to know about your writing process. This is something that I dig in with somebody, not everybody, but how do you start? I mean, are you a lyrics guy? Are you a melody guy? Are you chord guy? You switch it up?
Yeah, I was thinking about that question. I honestly think the thing that I do consistently is I just show up to it. Like, that's the only thing that's consistent. Um, I try to check in as often. I mean, I got a 4-month-old right now and a toddler, so my, like, consistency with anything is pretty trash. Um, but I try when, like, I have the time, I try every day to show up and write a little bit. And it's just, like, it can be tinkering, but it's like showing up and just I think of it like sourdough, like, you just gotta feed it, you gotta maintain it, it's just like anything else that, like, grows and has a life to it. Like, you gotta you gotta take care of it and nurture it, and that doesn't mean that you're cooking with it, that doesn't mean that, like, if it's a plant, you're ready to harvest it that day, but you gotta make sure that it's watered, you gotta check the roots. So, a lot of times for me, that starts with just sitting down at a guitar and seeing if there's something that, like, I'm noodling on that kind of, like, stirs me a little bit. Sometimes there's, like, a real idea I have stuck in my head, and then I'm trying to figure out how to get the music to it. The thing that, like, the thing that I've learned to cultivate, though, is the, like, editorial process, which is, like, I have this idea, I have maybe a verse or maybe a chorus, and I need to be able to like, kill all my darlings. Like, I may have a song that feels done that maybe I like, but I know that it could still be punched up more. And so how do I just, like, keep chipping away at it every day like it's a little chore. I've got a song out right now, Seven Dust. Took me a year and a half to write. I had the first verse kind of slowly over the course of 2 months, and I think I wrote 15 choruses for it. But they just didn't fit. And it was like, and sometimes I would sit down for 2 hours and write two different choruses, or like write one chorus that became, another thing. And sometimes it was like, I got 15 minutes. I'm just going to see if I get a little nugget. And within 5 minutes, I'd written something and I knew it wasn't it. Excuse me. Um, so to me, like, it's really just about continuing to show up and just think about whatever work you got to get done that day. Sometimes it's that like really boring editorial stuff. And sometimes it's just like sitting with a little vibe of feeling like a little pocket.
Yeah, let's sit down, let the inspiration take you if it
Yeah.
does, and if it doesn't, you got projects to work on and clean up.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, Tell me about what you're listening to right now.
A lot of weird podcasts. I get I get like pretty overwhelmed with listening to a lot of music. And I've also found, like, back to that comfort food thing, I really do just like what I like. So honestly, I'm listening to a lot of Doc Watson, and I'm listening to a lot of Roger Miller, and that's, like, kinda it with any consistency. Like, I just know that, like, if something is what I want is, like, A plus, because I only like biscuits and gravy, so I just want the A plus biscuits and gravy every time, and so it's like, no one's gonna be better than Doc Watson. No one's gonna
Right.
be better than Roger Miller. Um, those are my go-tos.
Good. Well, hey, let's talk about the music. You have Heirloom. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Heirloom, recently released. How'd that come together? How long you worked on it? Where you produced it? Where you recorded it?
Yeah. Oh, lord. Heirloom was a big old mess. The last record I put out was 2021. It was my, like, exiting COVID record, because I'd put out a record 3 weeks before lockdown, so everyone forgot that it existed immediately. It was brutal. If I would've waited 3 months into lockdown, I would have been better, like, genuinely better off because everybody would have paid attention.
Re-release it unplugged.
I should honestly, that's a great idea, but now I have to pay you a royalty for it, so,
Yeah.
um But, I put out my last record, and it just didn't do what I wanted it to do, and it didn't scratch the itch that I thought it would. Um, and it just like, I tell people it felt like a breakup where you just kind of feel a little heartbroken, and I'm not precious about music like that. Like, I think it's all gravy that I get to make music. I'm not like, "This is my baby." I have babies. Like, I have actual babies. Those are my actual babies. I care very much about the things that I make, but also, like, it's fine. So I was a little surprised why I cared so much. And I realized it was just because, like, I was working hard on things that were not me. I mean, there's still parts of that record, like, I think are really great, and I think I tried on things that have really helped me. But I was barking down, barking up the wrong tree. Um, and so I just kept writing music, and I knew that I was going to have to take a long time to reset what it was I was writing, what I wanted from making music. And in that kind of season of, I mean, I just think it was like composting. I was like, whatever we grew this season, I don't know, man, it don't taste right. So let's just throw everything in the compost heap. Let it all kind of rot and see what grows from it. It'll be fine, but like things have got to die. And so in that process, I became a dad. I lost my dad. I had all these like, kind of life, like big markers in life, like all these big moments happened for me in a really short span of time. Like becoming a dad and losing your dad in the same year is a real trip about like, like, what does
Yeah,
it
I
mean to
couldn't
be a
imagine.
dad? And uh, and so as I was like really revisiting what I wanted from music, I was also really revisiting who I needed to be. Like not just who I wanted to be, but who I needed to be. Because it really matters. Like every day I have kids now that look to me to be a certain kind of person and to like set them up for a certain experience of the world. So I started that record really slowly, just like demanding that I find a couple songs that I really liked and I wasn't going to make anything else. And so it was really about 3 singles over the course of 3 years that me and my producer made. And then kind of accepting that was something I was really happy with, broke open this kind of whole creative process where all these other songs flowed out as I was processing all the other things in my life. Um, and so my producer, Zachary Hamilton, produced it. First time I worked with a producer, it was the best thing I've ever done. But I also needed somebody who like listens outside of folk Americana and country, but
Yeah.
also is really like expert in that language as well. I needed someone who could like bring the indie to the country, to the indie country. Um, and so I finally found the right person. That was Zachary. Half of the drums were recorded at the Glow in Athens. Half of the record was recorded up at Furlong Creative in Lexington, Kentucky. Half of it was recorded here in Nashville at my house.
Wow.
Because it was just kind of like cobbled together because I didn't think I had a record in me, and then all of a sudden I did. But it was just trying to be true to like the chapter in life I was in and the ways that was creating this kind of set of songs that had taken a long time to emerge from the compost heap, but were really speaking to this like moment I was in.
Yeah. So you're heading out on the road to support that album now? Soon?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be on the road like a lot, a lot this year, which is really exciting. It's the busiest I've been in a long time, and it's the best shows I've played. For sure. So I'm stoked on that. And also for the first time touring this heavy, I've got 2 kids that I hate leaving, who like I come back and they're grown. And so I'm really trying to figure out that part now, like how to be a good dad on the road. And yeah, it's different. I'm like touring sober and stuff now. Like like I'm trying to like come back energized and ready to like change diapers.
Yeah, well, luckily you have technology to do, FaceTime and things like that.
It's a godsend, honestly.
You have your opening, you have tell me about the opening acts you have going on.
Yeah, so we've got a few that we're waiting to announce, but, a couple that
Dude, we could do the announcement here.
I haven't even signed a contract yet.
Oh,
I know, I don't
I'm
wanna
half kidding.
and I'm a little superstitious. I don't wanna jinx anything till the cat's completely in the bag and it's just
I get it.
enraged to be in there. Um, but I'm opening for Carsie Blanton, uh, May May 14th. That's our run through the Midwest. Carsie's dope. Carsie's to me the gold standard of what it means to be a political artist, in every single way. And so I'm like a little intimidated in a way that is like challenging and compelling and inspiring. Um, so I'm doing that, and then in July I'm going to be opening for my buddy Noah Gunderson. So that'll be cool as well. We'll be going up for a couple days in New England. I don't know, normally the farther north I go with my songs, the less people understand what the hell I'm talking about, but but we'll kick the tires on it and see how it goes. And then there's more to come this fall. Stay tuned.
Cool. Well, I'm excited to hit me up when you announce that. I'd love to share it. That's awesome. Good for you.
Thank you.
So you do that, and then you got any other things coming up? I assume that you're probably not going to do much writing other than just randomly on the road.
Yeah, yeah, like I wanna put out another record now. I thought this was gonna be my last record. Funny how that, like, that's never the case. So, yeah, I'm gonna keep on writing, but I also the muse kinda, like, comes and goes, and you just gotta, once again, like, you just show up and see if it's got an appetite or not. Um, so I'm gonna keep on writing, and see what comes out. I've got some songs already that, like, I've demoed and stuff that I'm really stoked on, but I have a my process with making things is, like, I like to get, on my end, full demos completely done, like,
Mhm.
as I would do them as a producer, and then send them over, and then we, like, start from there. Um, and so I haven't had that kind of time to, like, flesh out every little bit and piece yet, so I'm not sure where I sit with the songs. And sometimes, because sometimes you write a song and it's great on its own, but it doesn't translate great to a recording. Sometimes you write a song that is kinda not great on its own, but it is a bop, when you start to flesh out the parts. So I'm in that, like, kind of uncertain, nebulous space where everything's kind of up in the air, and I'm just like, "I've got all these little things that are kinda cooking, but I don't know if the ingredients are all gonna, like, mesh right." So, we'll see. But
Yeah.
I
I
I
mean,
got another record in me.
yeah, maybe 2027 you got one coming out.
Tell my label that. Tell 'em to give me that money.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk. Why don't you drop your label?
Yeah, shout out Free Dirt Records and Services, but I'm on the record side.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's nice to be picked up by an indie label like that.
Yeah,
Really nice.
it's been really cool. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think they were gonna pick me up. I love the stuff they put out, and I think, like, culturally, it's a really good fit. Um, but a lot of the stuff they do tends to be a little more on, like, like, the true folk, like, not even any folk, like, a true kind of folk side. Um, and I look, I mean, my new record has a song where we, like like, this is not an endorsement of this man, but some of the production choices are lodged in my, like, young, young soft brain. We referenced a Hotline TNT song with these, like, big riffs, and then we referenced, uh, Jason Aldean, like, Dirt Road Anthem. So, because look, I'm from where I'm from, okay? Those are the 2 things that I know.
Right.
And, I just was like, "There's no way that they're gonna pick me up," even though I love all of their artists and their music. And so I'm like, I'm really tickled. I think it's a really cool fit. And yeah, working with an indie label who works with folks who just, like, speak their mind and really care about, like, preserving traditions in one way or another, has been really, like, really cool. Really, really cool.
Yeah, I noticed that when I checked out their website, of their roster, but I think it's kinda cool, like, you're the only one, like, yourself on there, so, it's not like you're competing with other similar artists on the same roster.
Not at all. No.
Well, hey, I wanna be respectful of your time. I really appreciate Susan and you setting this up. It was great to talk with you. If you get to the Midwest, let's hook up, let's do a session. I think it'd be fantastic. And if I can ever get to a show when you get up here, I will definitely do that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
It's
buddy.
been a pleasure.
Gonna drive real slow. Well, every high place gonna be Bronco. Every high place gonna be Bronco.